Did you ever wonder as you step onto the sidewalk if there might be another New York City right below? Did you realize there's a tunnel from Westchester that travels all the way to the middle of Manhattan?
No power, no electricity, no nothing. This was the secret tunnel to the city.
Sure. And it still is.
And right under the gatehouse in Central Park is a world that reservoir joggers never see.
There are places where the old and the new do cross. You'll see piping that comes out of here that is original. It's back to the 1860s.
Come with me to a place that's closer than you think, just below the city we know, where we can find some of the underground secrets of New York.
Manhattan ran out of room decades ago. Before you can build something new on this island, you have to tear down something old. Unless you take something old and turn it into something completely different, like New York's High Line. It's a 1930s railroad that's now an incredibly popular city park. Before it was completed, a park on an elevated railbed sounded pretty strange, but not as strange as an underground park, which is why James Ramsey is calling his idea the Low Line.
New York is a very crowded place, right? And it's not every day that you just find an acre of square footage. So the idea that we could actually look to places that are even underground for public space or whatever is one that I think is particularly resonant with a crowded place like New York.
Ramsey found his hidden acre of real estate as he was running an architectural firm in Manhattan.
I met this old MTA engineer who told me about these amazing lost spaces underneath New York City, and there's tons of them. And the one that I found most interesting was actually the Williamsburg Trolley Terminal.
You can see the old trolley terminal from the Essex Street stop on the J Line. It looks dim and mysterious, fading off into the darkness. But the only way to really check out the potential of the Low Line is to go below, down the familiar subway steps, through the corridors, and into a space that's been closed for 65 years. Embedded in the floor are tracks where the last trolleys rolled out across the Williamsburg Bridge to Brooklyn in 1948.
When you see the tracks today, they are in the same location they were when the terminal was in operation. They haven't been changed. It's a one-way loop operation, sort of a giant U-turn.
Overhead, covered by layers of dust, are old wooden guides where the trolley cars got their power.
What you see is a guideway for the overhead power line that powered the trolleys. The word trolley actually refers to the metal pole that connects the car to an overhead wire that provides power for the car. The reason why there's a guideway there is because in case the pole came off the wire because of the curve, you wouldn't create a short circuit.
When this underground terminal opened to the public, Teddy Roosevelt was in the White House, and people lined up to pay a nickel for the fare to Brooklyn.
It's the largest existing site that we know of the former streetcar era anywhere in New York City, where you actually have existing cobblestones and rail lines and these crosshatches and these columns and these incredible ceilings. So there's this amazing historic side that I think a lot of New Yorkers really are looking to explore.
Just getting into an abandoned subway space will fascinate a lot of New Yorkers.
The Low Line is a great idea. People have been passing it on the subways every day for 65 years and wondering, gee, what is this big open space? And they want to find out more about it.
I think we're all really enchanted by the space. I think the rawness of it is part of the charm right now. But I think we're also thinking about the fact that this space has sat down here vacant for so long.
I think the final design will be creating the most quintessential possible New York City park, one in which people inside a park can actually see the subway flashing by in some way, and people on the subway can flash by and see an incredible public space.